Under the Imperius Curse, the spell words of education. In Harry Potter, one of the most insidious spells is the Imperius Curse. It doesn't hurt you directly, it just takes away your resistance. You feel calm, even good, while carrying out someone else's will. If you spend enough time in education, especially around professional development, curriculum materials, or social media, you've probably felt it, even if you didn't realize it. It happens when someone skips over evidence and wraps their claims in charged phrases like, "That's traditional. That's teaching in isolation. We don't want rote memorization." They sound like arguments, but they're not. They're spells. With just a few phrases, certain viewpoints get shut down before they're even considered. You feel persuaded, but questioning the frame feels forbidden, as if doubting it would make you a bad teacher, or even a bad person. Agreeing, and especially acting in agreement, feels virtuous, even when it's just compliance. This is the sorcerer's circle, a closed rhetorical loop. Language isn't used to clarify, it's used to cloud your thinking. You're caught in spells that bypass reason and stir emotion, cast as the villain if you resist, the victim in need of saving, or among the heroes if you go along. It's not just the words, it's the framing, the pressure, and the crowd around you nodding along. And the worst part? You often feel like you're doing the right thing, earning moral approval, while surrendering your judgment. Just like Harry resisted the Imperius Curse, we can resist spell words, and, better yet, strip them of their power. This is a wand raised not to attack, but to disarm. A kind of professional Expelliarmus. These types of spells aren't unique to education. They're all over the general discourse and political landscape. But I'll start with the ones most often cast around vocabulary instruction, the ground I know best. Spell number 1. That's traditional instruction. The whisper behind this spell is that traditional equals bad. But what's truly outdated is ignoring decades of vocabulary research suggesting that teaching individual words is one part of a complete vocabulary program. The best programs still teach individual words well, explicitly and systematically. Expelliarmus. Spell number 2. We don't want to teach vocabulary in isolation. This spell suggests that teaching individual words cuts students off from meaning, weakening understanding, instead of strengthening it. But not knowing a word is isolating. Teaching it directly is a bridge, not a wall. Word knowledge connects students to text, ideas, and each other. That's comprehension through clarity. Expelliarmus. Spell number 3. We don't want to teach dictionary definitions. This spell paints a lifeless image of students copying dry meanings from old dusty tomes. But the definition of a word is its meaning, and vocabulary is about meaning. We don't hand kids dictionaries to copy individual words. We do use dictionaries, however, to craft clear, student-friendly definitions and teach them in ways that help students remember and apply what they learn. Expelliarmus. Spell number 4. They already know these words. The whisper here is that teaching these words insults your students' intelligence, that they're too easy, too obvious. Kids claim to know the words, they've heard them tossed around, but haven't made them their own. But recognizing a word isn't the same as owning it. Receptive vocabulary, understanding a word in listening or reading, isn't expressive vocabulary, using a word in speech or writing. Kids need instruction to use words with confidence and depth. Expelliarmus. How to resist any spell. These spells aren't just quirks of vocabulary discourse, they're patterns. The sorcerer's circle appears whenever language is used to befuddle and shut down thought instead of inviting it. A 3-part resistance test helps expose the spell. When you hear a sweeping educational claim, whether in a book, PD session, or social feed, ask, is language pre-framing the issue, making some views seem off limits? Is someone casting roles, making you the villain if you resist, the victim in need of saving, or one of the heroes if you comply? Do you feel morally good for agreeing and acting in agreement, and bad for hesitating, feeling skeptical, or outright disagreeing? If you say yes to any of these, you're not in dialogue. You're under enchantment. This isn't just a metaphor. Psychiatrist Robert J. Lifton, in his study of ideological control and brainwashing, coined the term thought-terminating cliché, phrases that shut down questioning and create the illusion of settled consensus. It's the same principle. When language becomes an instrument for conformity, it stops being a tool for thought. Then too, philosopher Joseph Pieper, in Abuse of Language, Abuse of Power, warned that language becomes tyrannical when it's used to manipulate rather than communicate. Both point to the same conclusion. When language no longer serves the truth, it serves control. And as educators, especially as vocabulary teachers, we should be the most alert to this. We work in words. This isn't just about vocabulary. The point isn't just to argue back against 4 common phrases. It's to sound the alarm, shake off the spells, and clear the fog that's clouding our thinking. Spell words are everywhere. So are those who cast them, framing the debate, setting the terms, and making you feel righteous for falling in line. It's subtle, it's flattering, and it shuts down independent thought in the face of the crowd. So the next time you feel morally nudged or emotionally swayed, pause. Who's framing this debate? What are they asking of me? And why does going along feel like the right thing? Real thinking doesn't happen under enchantment. It starts the moment you break the spell.